Hey guys, welcome to this session and thanks for waiting and sorry for the delay. So let's get started with it. So our session is about getting started with AWS and let us first look at the agenda of today's session. We'll start off with looking at what exactly is AWS. I think most of you would know what is AWS. It is a cloud service provider, and we'll just look at the basic definition and how it works. And then we'll discuss why we should choose or why we should use AWS, because there are other cloud providers like Azure, GCP, Ali Cloud, there's IBM Cloud. We'll discuss why we should prefer or why you should start off with AWS. And then let us discuss AWS services, few services, and then after discussing those services, I'll do a quick hands-on on few services. And after doing that, we'll discuss how exactly you can learn AWS. So this session will be the start for you. You can start off learning AWS from this session, and in this session you'll learn all the basics about AWS. After that, you can go ahead, look at our YouTube channel. We have a complete 8-hour tutorial which you can learn from. We have a lot of topics, and about that we'll discuss at the end of this session. And at the end of this session, we also have a particular surprise for the viewers, and we'll discuss that later. So let's get started with it. So what is AWS? So first, let me give you the full form, the expansion of AWS. AWS is an Amazon subsidiary cloud provider, which is Amazon Web Services. So Amazon Web Services, you would know that it is a cloud provider. But what is a cloud provider? So to understand what is a cloud provider, you should first know what is a cloud service. So let me tell you in the most simplest terms what a cloud service is. Cloud service is something which is on another person's computer, which you are trying to access through the internet. So let's say I have 10 computers. So in that, I'm just using one, and 9 computers are redundant for me. I'm not going to use them. So what I'll do, I'll just rent it out through the internet. So I'll be running virtual machines on these PCs. So you will be able to create a virtual machine on my system and use it for yourself, and you will be paying me for that. So you are renting something through the internet. So a cloud service, so let's say even Gmail is a cloud service, but Gmail provides you an application over the internet. So you're using an application over the internet, but you do not know where this application is hosted on. Obviously, this application is hosted on a server somewhere in America or somewhere in Europe or any data center. So somewhere it is hosted. So that particular computer has these files, and you are accessing these files or these applications through the internet. So that is a cloud service. So any service, any website which you are viewing on your browser. So you go to google.com and type in if you go to a browser and just type in google.com, you get a website. So that website is fetched from a server which is running on the Google Cloud. So even google.com is a cloud service. So now there are other types of cloud services as well. So what do I mean by other types? So we've discussed about applications hosted on, that is google.com, Gmail, Google Sheets. So now coming to other types, there are 2 more types. One would be infrastructural and one would be platform based. Infrastructural in the sense you can rent or you can basically get your own PC. So you can get your own computer, but the thing is you will get access to the operating system, not the hardware components. You will have complete access on the operating system. You can install anything, you can add any kind of files, you can host your applications on them, but you will be paying for that usage, but you will not be given hardware level permissions, but you will be given OS level permissions. So you can get a server which is hosted on AWS. Another one which I was saying is platform. Platform in the sense you will be given a website on which you can create your own application through that platform, which again will be hosted on AWS. So here we are discussing AWS, that's why I'm giving AWS examples. So I've given you a basic idea of the 3 types. One is infrastructural, that is you will get servers. Platform, where you will get a platform to design applications and also get servers automatically for that. Third is the applications like Gmail, Google Sheets. So I'll give these. So for infrastructure, I'll give a service. For platform, I'll give a service which is available in AWS later in this session. So Now we've understood what is a cloud service. Now a cloud service is something which you get over the internet. Now a cloud provider is a company who provides these cloud services. So Amazon Web Services is a cloud provider who provides these services over the internet, and they have a lot of different services, and we'll discuss about them later. Now IT before the cloud. So before we used to buy servers. So for any application you want to host, you will have to buy few servers and then configure it, install applications, install softwares, and then copy your code to that, make it run, and then make it online. So this takes a lot of time, as well as once it is running, you will also have to maintain them. So the maintenance cost will be very high, and that is one of the reason people started to shift off with cloud computing. And then increase in expenditure. Obviously, if you want to buy more servers, you need more capital, and to maintain them, you'll have to hire professionals, and for them you'll have to pay. So that also increases the expenditure. Data privacy and security is poor because you will have to hire security professionals, a lot of security professionals, if you are having a lot of servers to take care of it. If not, obviously your security will be poor because you will not be active all the time. Any security professional cannot be active all the time to keep on checking if there is a bug or if there is a loophole. And then finally, scalability and flexibility. Flexibility in the sense, if you have 10 servers, you cannot easily give back 2 servers and reduce your expenditure. You cannot do that if you bought 10 servers. And scalability in the sense, so if you have an application which is utilizing 10 servers, now suddenly the traffic is increasing. So now you want more servers, so you go buy 5 more servers, and now you have 15 servers. Right now the application is using all 15 servers, but suddenly one day or for 1 week you don't have any spike in traffic, and it is only using 10 servers right now. So now the 5 servers are sitting there idle, costing you money. So this again was an issue. So then cloud came into the picture. So they gave you better data security and data privacy because they have hired 3,500 plus security professionals for their data centers, and their data centers architecture is obviously more secure and complex than private companies' data center. And then no maintenance worries. They'll take care of all maintenance. They'll monitor it, they'll maintain it, they'll patch it up. Faster data recovery. So if you have your servers and if you have data in it, if your servers are destroyed in some natural calamity, then you'll not be able to recover that data back. But if your data is stored on the cloud, you can have a backup somewhere else in another region. Even though that data center is down, you can get a backup of the data from another data center. Scale dynamically. So in cloud, you don't need to buy more servers. You just have to provision 5 more servers. And so let's say the same example, you have 10 servers for an application, traffic spikes. So you get 5 more servers. So now 15 servers are used. Suddenly traffic goes down. You only need 10 servers. Right now you can deprovision or terminate those 5 servers and use only these 10 servers. So this is very cost efficient. And then reduced costs. Obviously, if a cloud provides dynamically scaling option, obviously it will reduce your cost. You don't need to worry about maintenance, that will reduce your cost. You don't need to worry about security, again, that will reduce your cost. Now some facts about AWS, we'll just rush through this. So top companies like Netflix, Reddit, Expedia, and NASA use AWS for their hosting needs. And then AWS currently has 165 different services, and it is increasing every single year. And then on average, people view 7 million online videos, and they ask Siri 100,000 questions, buy $222,000 worth of items from Amazon, and all of these websites and applications are hosted on Amazon Web Services. Now also, AWS owns a 47% market share in the public cloud industry, which is the highest, and they are at the number 1 position. And also AWS has 69 availability zones across 22 geographic regions, including India, USA, and all across Europe. So now they are also trying to bring 10 more availability zones in 3 different regions, which is Indonesia, Italy, and South Africa. So these are some AWS facts just to show how big is AWS. And other cloud providers, Azure, Google Cloud, Ali Cloud, IBM Cloud, VMware. So AWS is the number 1, and Second comes Azure, then comes Google Cloud, then comes the other cloud services. Mostly we ignore them because the top three are AWS, Azure, and Google. And so in this session, we are looking into AWS. So moving ahead, we'll check out why should we use AWS. So we've discussed about AWS and we also saw other cloud providers. Now you would be thinking that why should I not use Azure or why should I not use Google Cloud? So you can use Azure or Google Cloud, but why should you use AWS? That we'll look at now. So first, AWS launched. So AWS were not the first cloud providing company, but they were the best cloud providing company. So just a rhyme. So AWS came into picture in 2006 with EC2 and S3. These were the first services which came up. So they revolutionized the IT industry by introducing a new way to use servers. So normally an IT company will buy servers, configure it, put their application, run it. But when AWS came into picture, they told companies that you don't need to buy servers. We'll buy servers, we'll take care of them. Just give your application to us, we'll host it on them. So basically you won't give your application's code. They give you the permission to host your application on their data center and it will be running. You just pay for the servers which is used. They'll take care of maintaining. So this was a great gift for any IT company because it will reduce their costs as well. It will reduce their maintaining needs and they can concentrate more on developing the application rather than hosting it. Then other things why you should use AWS is other pointers are first, simple and per hour billing. That is, if you're using a service and if you're using it just for an hour or 2 hours, you won't get billed for a month. You just get billed for 1 or 2 hours which you have used. Amazon's brand name. Obviously, Amazon is the largest e-commerce company in the world. They have other things like there is Amazon Prime Video, there is Amazon Music, there is Amazon Kindle. So there is so many things, and Amazon is one of the biggest names in the internet industry. So that is one plus. Third one is it is very easy to get started with AWS. It is like creating a profile for your Facebook account, but just one more step, you will have to provide your credit or debit card details so that if you're using some services, obviously you will get billed. But AWS also provides a free tier. We'll discuss about that later. So right now, these are the three major factors why people prefer AWS. And I've already told you that AWS is leading. So this particular chart is just for 3-month period on quarter 2 of 2019. So in quarter 2 of 2019, Amazon had 33% share, Microsoft had 16% and Google had 8%, and other companies you can just look at them. So worldwide cloud infrastructure service revenue was $23 billion. And in that $23 billion, 33% was AWS revenue. So this shows how big is AWS, and obviously if a service or if a cloud provider is huge enough, many companies are going to use it or they're already using it. So if a lot of companies are using AWS, so if you learn AWS, obviously there is a lot of job opportunities. Okay, so now we've discussed various factors. We discussed what is AWS and why should you go ahead with AWS. Now let us look at some AWS services. First, these are some domains on which AWS has services. So compute in the sense a server, a database engine. So a database engine which you can host on that server. So they also have separate database services, but as a compute service, you have these. And you have database services, you have storage services, you have migration and transfer services. This is these are very amazing tools in migration. So there are database migration services and there is a virtual machine migration service as well. So in a database migration service, you can directly migrate a database hosted on your on-premise system, on-premise server to the AWS cloud in just a few minutes. So you can do that. And then customer engagement, you have customer engagement applications as well, like chats and email services. Then you have security, identity, and compliance. Obviously, you need security and also identity services for AWS because there might be multiple users using a single AWS account, and for that you need identity. And then management and governance. So obviously you'll have to monitor and manage your AWS account. Even though AWS is managing your servers, you will have to manage your AWS account, and for that you have monitoring and managing services. And then networking and content delivery. So for these services, that is compute, database and storage, to run, they should be running inside a network. So to create a virtual network for yourself, so let's say you're creating a virtual network and launching 2 servers within that, and another server outside of it in another network cannot communicate with it until you give permissions for that. So you can create your own private networks, and also content delivery. That is, you can also have a CDN, a content delivery network. So YouTube uses a content delivery network, but YouTube uses Google's own content delivery network. And in AWS also they provide a CDN called CloudFront, and you can use it for your own streaming needs. Okay, so now let us discuss few services. So see, EC2 is a compute service, and this is the most integral part of AWS itself. So because most of the AWS services uses EC2 for one or another reason. So first let me tell you what is EC2. So the full form of EC2 is Elastic Compute Cloud, and EC2 is basically an on-demand server system. So EC2 enables on-demand scalable computing capacity in the AWS cloud. So what does this mean is, it provides you a virtualized server running on the AWS data center, which you can just launch in a couple of seconds and use it for your own needs. You can use it so you can use it as your own PC. You can use it to launch applications. You can use it to host applications. So instead of buying your own server, you can just launch a virtualized system, which will be like 10 to 20 times cheaper than maintaining your own server. So this is EC2. I'll go more in depth in the hands-on. And then comes RDS. RDS is a relational database service. So it is a service which gives you a relational database over the AWS cloud. And these are the options. That is MariaDB, PostgreSQL, SQL Server, MySQL and Oracle. And Amazon Aurora is a sub feature of RDS, where you can launch PostgreSQL and MySQL databases, but they will be much faster because it's a different architecture. So we'll not go into that. We'll discuss that in another session. So this is one of the service which is commonly used in AWS. And then comes S3, the most used AWS service. So S3 is a storage service. Basically, it is a binary storage service. You can store anything you want. Everything will be stored as an object. So you can store an audio file, you can store a text file, you can store a video file. So all of this is stored inside bucket. Bucket is like a repository. So in S3, there is no hierarchy concept. There is no file hierarchy concept. So there is no folders. Every single file is stored in the bucket. You can create virtual folders. So it will seem like there is a folder, but it is just creating paths. But every single file is stored in one single bucket, where you can just leave your hand inside and search for the right object and pick it up and use it. So this is S3. And then there is IAM. This is a security service. So let's say, for example, you have an admin, cloud admin, you have a web developer, and you have data scientists working in your company. Now for the admin, you want to provide all the access. So this admin should be able to add users, remove users, give permissions to those users. Second, web developer. So you should provide permissions to this particular web developer only to the web development dashboard, or to any services which he requires, like databases, EC2 or Elastic Beanstalk. So you can give permissions to this web developer to only access these services. And for a data scientist, you can only give access to the services which he requires. You don't need to give permission for every single service in AWS. So if the data scientist just needs 5 services, you can give permission for this data scientist to use only those 5 services, and he'll not be able to use any other service. So this is why you use IAM, to give permissions, to create users, to create groups, and you can also do a lot of other security features. It has multi-factor authentication as well. So there is a lot of features. We are not going to go deep into IAM right now. This is one of the important services you'll have to learn if you are going to start off with AWS. Okay, so now we've discussed these few services. Now let us do a quick hands-on. Okay, so I have already logged into my AWS management console. So this is how it looks, and this is my username. And if you click here, you can see my account, my organization, and then billing dashboard. Here you can see if you have any bills or not, and you can create billing reports and stuff. And here you can see your security credentials. I'm not going to go deep into this because it's a very huge concept. Okay, so now this is how your management console looks. So now you can see these are the recently visited services, and coming down you can see all these services available here, and there are these many services. So learning AWS is not that you'll have to learn all of these services. Nobody can do that. Even Jeff Bezos cannot do that. But you'll have to know enough services for you to do something effective for a company. So let's say you've learned EC2, you've learned databases, that is RDS, you've learned DynamoDB, you've learned S3, and let's say you've learned around 10 services. So now with this 10 services, will you be able to create an architecture which can host an application successfully and also be highly available? If you can do that, you can easily get a job in AWS. So now let us do a quick demo in EC2 because this is the most basic thing you'll have to learn first. So this is the EC2 dashboard. So now you can see running instances, dedicated hosts, volumes, key pairs. So I'll explain first running instances. So this shows how many instances are running, that is servers. In AWS, servers mean instances. We don't call them servers directly, we call them instances. And volumes, obviously if you are running a server, for the storage purposes you need a volume, so it'll automatically create a volume. And to log in to this particular instance, you need a key pair. So the private key is with you, the public key is stored on the server. So while logging in, you will have to provide the private key, and if the private key is able to decrypt the public key, only then you will be given access to the server. So this is to prevent unauthorized access. So this is a very secure method. So if you provide your private key to another person, obviously they'll be able to log into your server. So you should not give the access to them. So now let's get started. I'm clicking on this. So I'm going to launch an instance. So I'm going to basically launch a server. So I'm going to launch an Ubuntu server. So first thing after clicking on launch an instance is AMI. And AMI is, let's say it is a copy of a server. It is called an Amazon machine image. So what is the purpose of an AMI is, so let me come down. So here you can see an Ubuntu server 18.04 AMI. So this AMI is it is like the ISO file which you use to create a virtual machine on your local system. So this is the exact same thing like an ISO file, but for a cloud system. So now if I use this AMI to create, this AMI will already have all the configuration files which I require to create a Ubuntu server, to create a Ubuntu OS, to run an Ubuntu OS on a server. So this AMI will already have all the configurations. It will run everything for me and set up a Ubuntu server for me. So this is the most basic thing you'll have to learn about AMI. So if you use an Ubuntu server AMI, so you will get a Ubuntu instance. So now I'm using this. Next is choosing an instance type. So there are so many instance options, guys. So first, it'll automatically select the free tier eligible instance type, because for practice, you don't need to go ahead with a large one. Free tier eligible is fine. Why free tier eligible? In the sense you don't get billed. We'll discuss about this later. There is a free tier capability in AWS. So you can see this particular free tier instance will give you 750 hours of free usage. You don't get billed for that 750 hours. So let's go ahead with it. But there is also huge servers. So you can see if you want, let's say if you want a server with 48 virtual CPUs and 384 gigabytes of RAM, or if you want a server with 96 virtual CPUs and 768 gigabytes of RAM, you will still get a server like that. But these are very expensive services, and if you even run them for a minute, you will get billed a lot. So don't do that. Go ahead with a free tier eligible server. Next, configuring instance details. I just need one instance. So I'm not going to go to the network and subnet concepts. These are again huge concepts. Coming down here, so enable, so it will already be in enable. So do not disable it, because we are launching a public server. So I should be able to launch a website in it. So to check out the website in your browser, you need a public IP address for the instance. So to get a public IP address, you will have to enable auto assign public IP. Otherwise, you will after creating the instance, you will have to manually assign one. So now this is done. Next, 8 GB of storage is more than enough for my Ubuntu system. If you want more, you can just change the size over here. And this will be your root directory. You can create one more volume if you want to. You can create multiple volumes, and that is no issue. Next, tags. Tags are basically to trail. So let's say you have 10 different instances, and in that 5 different instances are for a website and other 5 are for general purpose. You're just having them for other issues. So now you can just tag all that 5 servers which are for your website as web servers. And so you can give it web server, and then if you just type in web server in the search bar, you will get all those 5 instances. So this is just to keep track of it. So you can give a tag if you want to, and it is not it is optional basically. Now SSH. So to SSH into an instance, you will have to provide the SSH permissions. So the port number 22 is for SSHing, that is secure shell. So why secure shell in the sense? So as I told you, you will get a key pair. The public key will be on the server. The private key will be on your system, that is your local system. So now what you'll have to do is you'll have to provide your private key to the server. But how will you provide it? So you will provide it through a secure shell. You'll be providing it through SSH. So for that you need SSH, and for logging in you need a service called Putty. So I've already have it installed, and if you want that, it's pretty simple. Just type in download Putty and you'll get it. So no issues. And also I'm going to launch a web server, so I'll just give HTTP so port number 80, because I'll be launching a web server which requires the port number 80. So I'm just using it. Next, and then review your server and then click on launch. So I think so I have this key pair. I'll just check once. It's not available, so I'll create a new one. Yeah, so I'm creating a new one. I'm giving a name for it as YouTube Live, and download it. So it'll be in my downloads, let it be. So now I'm launching the instance. So now the first part is done. The second part is to convert your PEM file, because if you are having an Ubuntu system or a Linux system, you can just use the PEM file directly using the SSH command. But if you are using a Linux system, you will either have to have a Linux emulator, or you will have to convert this PEM file into a PPK file. PPK in the sense Putty private key file, because you're using Putty to do SSH. So Putty only accepts a PPK file, so that you'll have to convert. So if you have downloaded and installed Putty, it will also install a software called Puttygen. So in Puttygen, go to load and go to downloads, and it's not available. Oh, sorry, it's searching for Putty private key files. All files, and you can see the YouTube live.pem file over here. I'm opening it and I'm saving the private key, and I'm saving it in my desktop as YouTube Live. You can give it any name. I'm giving it the same name. So right now I've converted it using the Puttygen software. So just load your PEM file, and it will automatically generate a private key, then save the private key and close it. So done. Even my instance is running right now. So one more thing I wanted to show you is you can see a public IP address over here. So now if I copy this and paste it here, you will not see any website running, because I don't have a web server running in my instance. So once I run my web server, you will be able to see that. So for that, you'll have to log into your instance. So copy your public IP, open Putty, paste your public IP under host name or IP address. Port number is 22. Connection type is SSH, which is secure shell. Then go to SSH, expand it, go to authentication. Under authentication, click on browse, choose the private key file, which is basically connected with your instance, because my instance has the public key of YouTube Live private key. So I'm going to choose that and I'm going to hit open. So if you get this particular security alert, so basically it means that you trust this host. If you trust this host, just click yes and you'll be given permissions to log in. So I've launched a Ubuntu system. So for me, the username would be Ubuntu. If you have launched a Linux system, the username would be EC2 user. So this is the Ubuntu system. So I'm going to go with Ubuntu and it'll log in. So I'm successfully logged in. Okay. So now, right now there is no web server. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to run a web server. So there is a web server called Apache 2. So you can learn about that later. You can just do a Google search of Apache 2 and learn what is it, because I'm not going to go into Apache 2. So it is sudo apt-get install Apache 2. Yes, and now it will install a web server. So once it is installed successfully, if I refresh this, you will be able to see a default web page. Let me refresh this, and now you can see a default web page running in my public IP, which is my instance's public IP. So where is this file? So let me show you that as well. So now let me open this folder. So under var, under www, and inside that there is a folder called HTML. And if I do an ls, you can see an index.html file over here. So this is that file. So let me remove this file. So I don't have permission, so I'll have to use sudo. So now there is no index.html file. So now you can not see the web page. Okay. Now let us create a index.html file. I'll just type in hello world and save it. Okay. Now if I refresh this, you should be able to see the hello world page. That is, I've successfully hosted my website on my own server. So this is how you do it, guys. You can easily get started with AWS. So I think you understood the easy to part, and it's pretty easy to get started with it. And let me go back to the slides. So we've done the hands-on, and now let us see how to learn AWS. So you have various ways, but the most effective way is to learn through YouTube. So we have a lot of AWS tutorials, and we have an AWS tutorial which is 3 hours long. We have another AWS tutorial which is 10 hours long. You can go ahead to our YouTube channel and start learning from us for free. And then we have a blog, we have tutorials. We have informative blogs and tutorials written for you for free. You can just go ahead to intellipaat.com/blog and search for AWS and start reading from there. And also, once you've created your own account, you will get an option of choosing 3 types of accounts. One would be free account, one would be development account, and one would be a business account. So choose the free account and you will get all these benefits. First is, there are a lot of services which are always free that you can check. And then there are few services which are free for 12 months. So you can see that over here. And there are few services which also have free trials. So now coming down over here, so you can see this service, that is EC2, which we just used, is free for 12 months. And S3 is also free for 12 months. Even RDS is free for 12 months. But you can see DynamoDB, which is basically what is it? It is a table database. So you can store files using JSON. It is a NoSQL database. So it is always free. 25 GB of storage in DynamoDB is always free. So if you're a small company who are using a NoSQL database, you can just go ahead with DynamoDB, and if your storage is lesser than 25 GB all the time, you will get it free for an entirety of your business. So you can go ahead with it. So these are some free tier benefits which you get. in AWS so that you can start practicing. This is a marketing trick from AWS. You can get started with AWS like this. And then also we have an online training which is conducted by us online with industry professionals who are working in the AWS domain. So I'll give you a quick introduction about that as well. So you can see this is our website, and I've searched for the category AWS, and we have a lot of AWS courses. One is AWS DevOps, Developer, Solutions Architect, SysOps. We have a DevOps Masters course, which also includes AWS, Cloud and DevOps Architect course, AWS Masters course, and also an AWS Cloud Migration. So AWS Masters course is basically a combination of all these courses except the DevOps Master. And it combines all of this. So now let us discuss about AWS Solutions Architect. Why? Because AWS Solutions Architect is the most popular and commonly taken exam, and also the most paid AWS job role. Okay. So now, because if we discuss one particular course, you'll get an idea about all the other courses as well. So first, it is a training for Solutions Architect certification. So once you've completed this course, you will be able to take up AWS Solutions Architect certification and clear it successfully. We have 36 hours of instructor-led training where an instructor will be taking a session online for you live. So you can basically ask questions on the go and get your doubts cleared. And then we also have recorded videos, again by an industry professional who is working in AWS right now, not in AWS. Working as a solutions architect. We provide training for solutions architect through solutions architects, not a random person. So that will obviously give you a lot of real world scenarios. That trainer will give you a lot of examples of what is happening in the current industry, and you'll get a clearer picture about AWS. And then we also provide projects and exercises for 32 hours. We also provide job assistance. Once you've successfully completed the course, we provide you job assistance. You can take up a weekday batch as well as a weekend batch, which only occurs on Saturdays and Sundays. You can see that over here. Saturdays and Sundays, then Tuesdays and Fridays. And also, you have a lifetime free upgrade. That is, if you buy the course right now, and if you have completed the course in 3 months, then after 5 years, you want to take up AWS again, because there are some new features which has come, and we have upgraded our course. You can come back again and take the course once again, and that will obviously benefit you. So that, and also if you have any doubts regarding your course once you have taken it up, we have a 24/7 working support, technical as well as operational support. You can raise a ticket at any time, and we'll love to help you out. And coming down, you can come to our website and check out our course content. You can see that over here. And I think you'll get a better picture out of it. We also provide 2 sub courses, which is DevOps on AWS, which teaches you few services, which is like code commit, code build, code deploy, and code pipeline. And we teach you AWS migration as well. So these are some extra, and as well as we provide you interview questions. And coming down, we have, you can see we have 2 different projects. One is the multi-tier website. We have 3 different projects. Second one is the website orchestration, and third one is publishing Amazon SNS messages privately. So I'll just discuss the first project. So here we'll be deploying a multi-tier website using AWS EC2, which we just used in our Handson currently. So what we'll be doing is we'll be launching an EC2 instance. We'll be launching auto scaling. That is, whenever traffic increases, more servers will be automatically created. Whenever traffic decreases, servers will automatically decrease. We'll also launch an RDS instance, which is a database instance, and we will have our application running on EC2. We'll have a database running on RDS. So whenever a user is trying to retrieve some data from our application, so it goes to the RDS instance, fetches it back, and gives it to the user. So that's why we are allowing traffic from EC2 to RDS. So we'll be learning this in this AWS course. You can add it to your resume as well. And we also have other projects, and we have assignment for every single module which we teach for you. So once you've completed the module, you'll have to complete the assignment, and we'll also help you with an assignment session, and you can get it cleared easily. So once you've completed all your assignments and your projects, you'll be given the certification, and then you can go ahead and take up your AWS certification. and get it cleared and start off with your AWS career. Okay guys, we've seen about this. We'll go back to the slides. Okay, so now for anyone who's watching this particular session, if you want to take up a course right now, you can go ahead to our website and use the coupon code YouTube30 and get a 30% instant discount on any course you want to take up. So use it wisely. So take it up right now. If you want to start a career in cloud, this is the right time. And thank you for attending this session. Meet you in another session. If you want to talk to a course advisor, call us at the first number, which is for Indian, second number is for US customers. So if you don't want to directly call us, you can put up a mail to us at support@intellipaat.com or sales@intellipaat.com, and we will contact you back. So, or if you also don't want to do this, you can just go to our website. We have a chat engine. We have a AI engine running. You can just start chatting over that. And again, we'll contact you back. So guys, thank you and meet you in the next session.